The machinery has changed. And the bar has been raised. And one man has brought massive attention to this pathway to the V8 Supercars Championship. Now it's time to see who has the right stuff to go to the next level. Well, it's the start of a brand new year in the Dunlop Series. It begins here at the traditional season opener on the streets of Adelaide, and the biggest field in 6 years for the development category here at this track. We're looking forward to it because we've changed the game in the off-season. With Car of the Future coming into the V8 Supercars Championship, there's a range of machines that have come to play the Dunlop Series. 30 cars here this weekend. Some drivers are familiar, some are rookies, and they're here on a punishing street track to begin the season. But all eyes are on one man. The two-time World MotoGP champ, Casey Stoner, makes the swap from 2 wheels to 4, and he's going to live his boyhood dream.
While the high-profile recruit is excited about the opportunity to test his racing skills in the Dunlop Series, he's under no illusions about how tough it will be as a rookie.
I haven't tried to transfer anything from bikes into cars. You know, I understand that they're completely different, and there's almost nothing except maybe, you know, how a tyre grips that I can transfer from bikes to cars. So I'm starting from scratch mentally as well. I haven't tried to pretend that, you know, I know what I'm doing with anything. You know, this is all completely new to me. I've got everything to learn, and that's exactly what I'm doing.
One driver who has his own point to prove is Chaz Mostert. Driving Mark Winterbottom's car from last year with Matt White Motorsport, the 20-year-old is determined to learn from the mistakes that cost him a chance to take out the title last year.
I guess to a point, you know, you can only try your best, and if your best isn't good enough, then I guess it's not good enough. But, you know, coming off a stellar year last year, a lot of speed in the car, and obviously finishing third, you know, the first two guys in front of me aren't in the series this year. So, I mean, you've kind of got to step up this year, and you have to be going for the championship. So that's my goal. But, you know, if we don't get there in the end and we have a good battle along the way, that's what it's all about, you know. So it's all about the memories.
There's every chance Mostert's greatest threat may come from within. Teammate Dale Wood secured podiums at the end of last season as a privateer and hopes to be a serious title contender after moving to a more competitive car in 2013.
Will Davison's car from last year, and a lot of people say I'm one of the best cars out in the field. That car got pole position in the main field last year award. So it's I've certainly got the machinery around me, and I've certainly got the team around me. But I've got to learn the car yet, and I've really got to get my head around what it is I've got. So I've got a great opportunity, but just don't want to think it's not all going to come easily, that's for sure.
Jeff Emery and Ash Walsh also return, hoping another year under their belts will help them move further up the grid.
We're running with the same team and the same engineering group. I'm also doing some racing in New Zealand with the same engineering group as well. So, you know, a lot more racing this season for me. And the stability, hopefully, is the key to success.
I've been able to secure Craig Lowndes' car for this year, which obviously has been a proven machine, and Craig did an awesome job in it last year and obviously finished second at Homebush. So, look, I'm really excited to be able to jump in a Triple Eight car for this year and see how we go.
Others to keep an eye on include Taz Douglas, who's back after a tough year in V8 Supercars, and Brad Jones Racing's Andrew Jones returns with a new teammate, former V8 Youth champion Chris Pither.
And the first Armour All Pole Position Award for 2013 has gone to Chaz Mostert. He's made it 2 in a row on the streets of Adelaide, last year for Ford Performance Racing, this year for MW Motorsport. He starts in the best place possible. Stay with us after the break, all the action from the first race of the 2013 Dunlop Series in Adelaide.
They are the stars of the future, and there's no question this is one of the most highly anticipated races ever in the Dunlop Development Series. The man who tamed the beast that is MotoGP and went all the way to the top of the world twice is ready for the next step. The next step of Casey Stoner's career is behind the wheel of a V8 supercar, the opening race of the Dunlop Series. And to commentate this one for you, it's great to have Stevie Johnson in the box with Aaron Noonan.
Sure is, Matty. We're getting set, Steve, for race 1 of 7 rounds for the Dunlop Series this year. It's the traditional season opener in Adelaide. Also, Chaz Mostert will start from pole. Of course, he won this round last year and was very strong. He'll be on the front row with Ashley Walsh, Dale Wood and Christian Lindblom on the second row of the grid. There is Casey Stoner. He starts from position 12. He's right in the middle of the field. Marcus Zukanovic's a familiar name. Some of the young guys from the V8 Touring Car Series, Morgan Haber and Aaron Tebb, Josh Hunter, all stepping up and making their debut in the Dunlop Series. Chris Alajajan returns to the series. He's driving the Nandy Kiss car. Michael Hector's in Scott McLaughlin's old Fujitsu car that won the series last year. Brett Stewart, Jim Pollicina starting on the final row of the grid. But up front, it is Chaz Mostert, who is in the Sherrin Rentals Ford. He's signed up with FPR for the Enduros. He's driving for Matthew White's team, and he will start from pole in this race, which will be over 20 laps. So it's Mostert to the left, Ash Walsh to the right. Getting set for 20 laps, the first race of the Dunlop Series, and Casey Stoner goes into the unknown. Who'll get the jump to the chicane? Mostert, did he go a little bit early? It's very slow away. A range of drivers look like they've been asleep. Now they get running from the middle of the pack, and look at some of the fast guys from the back coming through. Mostert is back to third. He's lost the start now. Ash Walsh has taken the lead and jumped through the chicane. He's already got one curb hop there. Second is Dale Wood. There is Mostert. Then Christian Lindblom. Then Cameron Waters. A lot of familiar names, but very different colours and numbers and cars. Just about everybody swapped in the off-season.
Absolutely. It's hard to get used to. You know, you're used to seeing someone in certain sponsors, certain colours, as it's so busy back here in the mid-pack. All of that generated from that very slow start from that mid-pack back to the back.
It looked like people couldn't see the lights, or they just weren't quite ready. It all looked a little bit strange, but what we do know is that Ashley Walsh in the Matt Stone Racing Falcon is out in front. Casey Stoner looking forward at Jeff Emery, who's updated to the Craig Lowndes car from last year. There it is, that fluoro pink number 48 car. And just behind Casey is Andre Heimgartner, the young Kiwi in that Finance Easy Ford. And Stoner's not afraid to run the curb. He's already starting to hustle the back of Jeff Emery.
It's not going to take someone like Casey Stoner long to, get into the groove and get into the racecraft of this. He's raced, he's done it all before on bikes, a little bit different in cars.
Oh, Jim Pollicina, the pole performance Commodore, one of the ex-Sprint Gas Commodores, is off the road. And it looks like
That's off at turn 11 there.
Yeah, had some assistance, judging by the right rear and some of the paintwork there, but it's Ash Walsh who leads the way. This is...
Oh, lock up from Ash Walsh.
He's going to make the corner. I think he did just, but Dale Wood's second from Chaz Mostert. A couple of ex-Ford Performance Racing cars being run by Matthew White's team. There's Casey Stoner. He is where he started. 12th, that's Sam Walter.
The escape road.
He won't make that. Bang! Light contact with the tyre bundle. Coming back to the series after a couple of years away. Ex-Fujitsu Commodore, and over half the field are cars that we saw on the grid at Sydney last year with the main series, including your old car in the hands of Drew Russell. It's been a 17 Jim Beam car. It's now been swapped. Now, have a look at the lights here. Now, that's what threw everyone into an absolute chaos, because the red was on. Normal procedure is it would go out and the race would start, but the yellow started flashing.
I'm surprised that they didn't restart this race from looking at that. Oh, there you go.
That's how Pollicina ended up there. Contact with Adam Wallace on the run back into the racecourse section.
Just running out of road, obviously, here. No room. Squeezing him out.
And exit stage right. He's got running again, but he's down in 29th. So Ash Walsh leads, the Ipswich-based driver, driving for Matt Stone, who is the son of Jim Stone. Of course, we know him from Stone Brothers Racing. Jimmy's working with his son this year. It's a great story. Dale Wood's second. That's the ex-Will Davison car from last year. There's Daniel Gord. He stepped into the Wilson security car, that silver and blue Commodore, the ex-Michael Patrizzi car. And here is Casey Stoner. He's up to 11th. He's got by Jeff Emery. He's on the run down towards turn 4. And now he's going to get to know what a race car is like over the course of a 20-lap race run, where the fuel burns down and the grip elements change. And, of course, this time of the day, the sun's also an issue. Shadows over the road. There's a lot to deal with.
I was nearly going to blame the sun for some of the poor starting there, but we can blame the lights for that one. It was very surprising to see that. You see Craig Lowndes there, keeping a good eye on his mate Casey and making sure he's doing a good job. A couple of good mentors that he's got there in that team.
Yeah, a couple of good blokes who seem to know their way around. And look at this, not
Big
afraid of
move up the
lunge.
inside.
Down the inside on Aaron Russell. That's the ex-Tim Slade car, as you can tell by the livery. And he moves on through. He's into the top 10, Casey Stoner. On debut, he's picked up 2 spots. Now, I spoke to Aaron Russell yesterday and he said, I've got a really good strategy for coverage this year. I'm just going to follow Casey around or drive in front of him. Seems to be working.
He's getting the coverage as we see Ash Walsh actually putting a bit of a gap there.
And new fastest lap, 23.58 for the Queensland driver. That is the car that he ran in the last part of last year's Dunlop Series, ex-Stone Brothers Racing. And a look back here at Daniel Gaunt. George Medicki was the next through in the iSeek Ford. There's Taz Douglas in the Silver Falcon. Chris Pither coming back in the Ice Break Coffee Commodore. Riding on board with Taz Douglas, looking back at Nick McBride, who's making his debut in V8s. That's the Tony D'Alberto car from last year. It's about the only one that stayed in the livery to help us out.
Yeah, exactly.
And Taz Douglas here sitting mid-pack 17th, driving for Terry Wyhoon this year in the ex-Shane Van Gisbergen car. Replay here of Casey Stoner making his move forward on Aaron Russell. Textbook stuff.
Very easy. Got under there. No brake locking, nice and smooth, and didn't get too excited. As we see, Chaz Mostert has done the fastest split to the second sector, so Chaz is on a roll here. Another replay of Casey down the inside, easy as you like.
And through to position number 10. Here's Dale Wood, sits second at the moment. GB galvanising forward. Chaz Mostert behind. These were the cars that Will Davison and Mark Winterbottom drove last year, and Christian Limbom just behind in David Reynolds' old car. So the FPR-built cars are still very, very fast machines. They were quick in the main series last year. They were 1-2 in the Clipsal 500, and there they're running 1. But Ash Walsh qualified on the front row for the first time in his Dunlop Series career. He's on target if he can keep this rolling to get his first win. Welcome back. You're watching round 1 of the Dunlop Series for V8 Supercars from the streets of Adelaide. Have a look at this. Chaz Mostert closing in on Dale Wood. He's making the move on his teammate. He's in the gap. Not quite. He gives him a nudge. He sends him sideways. This will be a good debrief. And you know what? He breathed out of the throttle there. He let him back in.
Yeah, exactly the right thing to do there, because he would have definitely been shown a penalty, either a pit lane penalty because of that. You cannot unload someone and pass them that way.
And that is a sign of maturity from Chaz Mostert. Yep, he made contact. He could have taken advantage. He lost 100 points last year because of similar scenarios where he gained advantages from touching other cars. So smart move. That's Matthew White to the left of shot there, team owner for Dale Wood and also for Chaz Mostert. So he wouldn't like those cars touching.
No, exactly not. It's never good when 2 team cars touch. Although it is. Oh, lock up from Chaz.
And Stoner's been off the road at the final corner, Steve, because he's lost a spot to Rodney Jane, who skips on by.
Casey just as now, he had a bit of clear air there for a while, but he's just dropping back into the clutches of this big group behind him. That consists of Taz Douglas, Andre Heimgartner, Josh Hunter, all behind him there. Taz is a seasoned veteran, obviously in the V8 Supercar ranks from last year, and he's not going to go easy on Casey at the moment.
Now, Wood's been able just to skip away from Chaz Mostert. There's Ash Walsh, continues to lead the way. He actually hit the wall in practice 1 to start off yesterday, but has pieced it together very, very nicely. Chaz Mostert here, last year 3rd in the series. Took a lot of poles, 5 for the season from the 7 rounds last year, but made some mistakes. He'll be bigger and better and stronger this year in the ex-Mark Winterbottom Falcon. And Stoner is really under pressure now. Taz Douglas is going to give him a real working over.
As we see the replay here of Chaz getting down the inside of Dale Wood and a bit of a touch here.
Oh, this was naughty.
Very lucky that Dale Wood hung on to that.
But have a look here to the right. Chaz just lifts out here, lets him go through because he's on the wrong line for the corner, and he knows that he doesn't want to pass having gained an advantage. This is Chris Pether getting in the back of Nick McBride on debut.
That will result in a pit lane penalty if I'm not mistaken.
Well, Cameron McConville is now the driving standards advisor for both the main series and the Dunlop series, so that will be looked at. Now, this is what happened to Casey. Final turn, got in too deep, locked the right front, and just ran wide and lost a spot.
Yeah, very, very easy to do. Very easy to do, so.
Technically didn't really leave the track because there's actually bitumen that extends around the final turn.
You're right there, but the right-hand front tyre...
Uh-oh, problem for Casey Stoner.
There you go. I bet he's got a right front flat. He might have a right front flat.
I think he's had contact with the wall, Steve. Casey Stoner, the Red Bull Racing Commodore, is done. He's out on debut. Cannot believe it. Right front damage. He's pulled it off to the side of the track.
Now, I'm suspect that that right-hand front tyre's gone down, maybe through turn 3 and hit the wall on the outside there. I could be wrong, but that's what I would think maybe has happened.
He's pulled it up and got it out of the way. Look in the background. Bang! Straight into the wall. Casey Stoner tastes concrete on his debut in the Dunlop Series. And that's over and out.
Yeah, that's all stemmed from that right front lock-up into the last corner. Bang! Into the fence.
Glancing blow more than anything. Could have been a worse angle, but he hit it pretty side on. So that is that. The debut is done for Casey Stoner.
It's going to be
halfway through. It is out of the way, that car, but we'll wait and see what race control decides and does. Casey staying on board. Don't forget that Ash Walsh leads the way, 1.8 seconds clear of Dale Wood. And they might leave that car there. It's on the inside of the exit of turn 4. We'll wait and see.
Just down in the Red Bull garage with Roland Dane, and Roland looks like a right front puncher for Casey Stoner. Sad way to win what was a pretty promising day.
Yeah, I'd probably flat spotted earlier on, and that's led to the puncher. He might have just touched the wall somewhere. Yeah, but it's all part of learning.
Exactly so. Your impressions of Casey and his first hit out, what did you think?
Yeah, he's good. I mean, he showed good speed early on until he flat spotted that tyre and everything. So it's just, yeah, it's part of learning about racing on 4 wheels, and he's jumped in at the deep end, and so there's a few hurdles to overcome, but he's handling it pretty well.
And Roland, this category, it is a great way for these guys to learn, isn't it? It's a great introduction to the big league, if you like.
That's why it's called the development series.
Yeah. But it really does work so well, doesn't it? I mean, we're seeing so many young drivers now, guys who are coming through to the big league, if you like.
Yeah, I mean, today we saw young Scott McLaughlin, who won that series last year in the top 10. Scotty Pye was 11th as well, who finished second to Scott last year. So that shows really how high the standard is in the development series. What a good grounding it is.
Roland, all the best. We look forward to seeing Casey out there tomorrow. Thank you.
Now, change position. Chaz Mostert has made it through past Dale Wood to grab second spot. And on lap 15, we're at 3/4 race distance, so I'm not sure he's got time left. Oh, right front lock up there from Mostert. Ash Walsh really just has to manage this margin for the next 5 laps.
He does, but you know what? I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that Chaz will get to the back of Ash Walsh before the end of this race. They've been setting some pretty good times. Chaz was looking very racy behind Dale Wood there. He's got past safely now. He's got his eyes on and...
oh, putting a lap on Brett Stewart. That was a little bit close.
See, he had to be careful there, and now Chaz is going to get held up by Brett Stewart here.
Wrong place to catch him, isn't it?
Wrong place. That was a yellow flag zone up until that lap, so I think Ash was a bit hesitant there to pass him until he saw that there was no yellow flags out for Casey Stoner, who's stuck there on the inside after contact at turn 3.
And the top 3 have really motored away. Andrew Jones is some 7 odd seconds behind in 4th spot. And that's been one of the great things. We touched on it earlier, but the influx of good, solid equipment with the main series teams all moving the car of the future this year, it's really pushed this category. And it's hard to pick. We probably would say that Chaz Mostert's the series favourite coming in, but from there onwards, it's really tough to tell.
Absolutely, you know, and let's face it, there's a lot of good cars in this series now at the right price. You know, there was a lot of cars that had to get sold. Oh, this is getting tight.
George Maniki gets in the back of Cam Waters. That's a shame for Cam. Former Formula 4 champ, former winner of the Shannon Supercar Showdown. Didn't do anything wrong, but ended up facing in the wrong direction. He's driving for Minda Motorsport this year in an ex-Fujitsu Gary Rogers car, but that was George Mediki making contact in the IC Ford. That's the old Lee Holdsworth Irwin car from last year. That'll get looked into.
I'd like to see a replay of that because it was so busy down there. You know, it looked like George had a go, backed off. Did someone get into the back of George here? It's just, you know, I think George might have got a bit of a touch there.
From Daniel Gawn in the Wilson security car, but I think he was going to make contact anyway.
Yep.
He was in deep. That's a shame for Cam. He's been going really well this weekend. He's rejoined, but he's back to 10th spot. Gets running again.
Here we go.
This prophecy of yours is proving correct because look at Mostert. He's closing in on Ash Walsh. Now, what's the Ipswich lad made of? Can he put the doors out and made it tough for Chaz because he's only got a few laps to go, but he's going to have to race him. He can't cruise.
Absolutely. He's 6/10 faster than the second sector, so Chaz has got speed to burn at the moment. They've dwindled down a 2.2 second lead that Ash Walsh had when Chaz was stuck behind Dale Wood, and it's now down to 0.4 of a second and basically zero now, as you can see it on the telly screen.
It's a bit of a Ford feud at the front. You've got a Stone Brothers built car ahead of an FPR built car and another FPR car just behind. Easy for me to say fast. Walsh crosses the line, 17 done, 3 to go. But Mostert's coming. He took 7/10 that time around. The Sharon Rentals Ford is flying when it matters. 150 points on the line for this race. It's a 2-race round format, so it places more emphasis on good results. If you drop a bundle of points here, it's hard to get back. It's not a long series.
That's right, it's not, you know, and these races are very, very important. And you can just see there, Ash Walsh trying to get the power down at a turn 4. See what it's like out of turn 7 here. He's just struggling with rear drive at the moment. And Chaz's car just seems to be getting stronger and stronger the more laps we do.
And Dale Wood is keeping a watchful brief. He's ready to pounce if something happens in that 26.
Watch it here, turn 9.
Yeah, this is where he's lining it up. He's trying to get a good run through 8. Yes. Walsh knows it. Walsh knows it. Here he comes. Is he in the gap?
No.
Not quite. Now he's telegraphed the move. He knows where he's going to have a go next time.
He does, he does.
This would be big for Ash Walsh. He's been... Okay, that's Laurie Schmidt, race director for the Dunlop Series. That's Michael Hector, who is a lap down in 29th. This is where the fight is. It's a 3-way battle for the opening race of the Dunlop Series in 2013. Ash Walsh has never finished on the podium in the Dunlop Series in a couple of years of competition. He was really good in Formula 40, spent some time overseas. He came back to run in V8 Supercars. We're going to see what he's made of.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very, very tight. They've just dragged, they're ragging it through there. He's going to block up here. He knows there's only 2 laps to go. Dale Wood is now onto the back. Oh,
contact!
Big crash.
Morgan Haber in the fence at turn 8. And that's heavy. That's the third of the Matthew White car. So while the other 2 cars are fighting for the win, their third car is in the fence. There's plenty of damage.
This could even end up finishing under safety car, depending on where...
And that takes away the passing opportunity for Chaz Mostert. He cannot pass under a yellow flag. The team will have told him, there is Morgan Haber's car, there is the yellow flag. So that saves Walsh from having to worry about this corner because he can't be passed.
Absolutely. I think the only chance that he's going to get past him now is into turn 4. So let's see, all depending on the run out of turn 14 and how he gets through the turn 1-2 chicane.
Here's the replay of how Morgan Haber ended up, lost the rear on the way in. Wow, that was heavy contact. Now, Mostert trying to get the run. There's some lap traffic up in front. They will get to Chris Alajajan here very shortly. They need to get him on this straight run after the chicane. Mostert knows that he needs to get it off the chicane and dive at the next one at turn 4. Ash knows it too. He'll park it up the inside. He'll get through on Alajajan. That one's clear. Now, This is where he's struggling for drive. It makes him vulnerable on the run towards turn 8, but he knows, he's got it in the back of his brain, that he's safe to turn 9. So as long as he's in front there, he's okay.
Absolutely. A good run out of here. He's safe into turn 9 now. The only other opportunity is under brakes into the final corner, turn 14.
The run through turn 8 for the final time. A quick update from race control. They'll investigate the incident with George Medicki, Cam Waters and Daniel Gaunt after this race concludes. So we'll update you on that situation ahead of the race tomorrow. But Ash Walsh is on his way home. He's done a great job in this 87 Falcon, the infant's friend Ford for Matt Stone Racing. He's a little bit slow here. He's not got it done with yet. Last corner, he's going to have to park it on the inside and stop Chaz Mostert from snatching the first race win of the season. He just needs to stop it here, turn it through the final turn, stand on the loud pedal, and Ash Walsh will pick up his first Dunlop Series race win. It's a breakthrough for Matt Stone Racing. There's something in the stones, SBR, MSR. It's great stuff, and it's Ford's 1, 2 and 3. But Ash Walsh, that's a breakthrough. That's great for confidence.
Absolutely. You know, that's something he's been looking for quite a long time now. Bad start to the weekend with a crash at turn 8 early on lap 3 of the first practice, but gets the job done now. Fantastic effort.
Of course, Casey Stoner gets another chance tomorrow. He'll line up down the back of the 30-car field. Andrew Jones 4th, Christian Lindbaum next from Drew Russell, Medicki, Gaunt, Aaron Russell, and Cam Waters rounded out the top 10 in a very entertaining opening race of the Dunlop Series.
Well, Ash, you finally got there, your first career victory, and you did it in style. Well done. It was a tough job out there.
Yeah, there's obviously a couple of hiccups along the way. I thought I was controlling the race really well up until about 3/4 of the lap when we got up to a few of the back markers. And yeah, it obviously went awry from there, and I struggled a little bit with tyre life in the last 5 laps, so made for an interesting couple of laps. I was getting very nervous, but I'm glad that I held on for the win. You know, it's obviously the best way that you can start the year, so we'll just concentrate on one race at a time, and hopefully we can come out tomorrow and be strong as well.
One race down, 1 to go. Stay with us after the break. All the action from race 2, the streets of Adelaide.